What's up, guys? This is Staff Sergeant Lapoint, and I am a full-time recruiter and a part-time drill sergeant with the Louisiana National Guard. Every week on this channel, I bring you guys basic combat training survival tips to help you on your basic combat training journey. Now, I understand this video is coming a little bit late. Scenery is a little bit different. You'll have to excuse me. Louisiana is currently going through a snowpocalypse. Cajuns are not meant for the cold. But the power issues are gone, and I am back to help you once again on your basic training adventure. Today we're talking about how to handle your drill sergeants. So remember, if you're getting ready to enlist in the military or you've already enlisted and you're waiting to go to basic combat training, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you're from the state of Louisiana and you'd like more information about basic training or how to enlist in the Louisiana National Guard, make sure you shoot me the message GEAUX GUARD to 318-229-5297. Let's go. What's up, guys? This is Staff Sergeant Lapoint, and as I previously described, today we are going to talk about things to say, things not to say, and basically how to handle your drill sergeants. So let's get straight into it. Drill sergeant survival tip number 1, using sir and ma'am. A lot of other military YouTubers speak on this quite frequently, but I decided to put it as my number 1 tip today because it is the biggest issue that we have in the South, and that is manners. When you get to basic training, it's going to be totally natural for you to want to address your drill sergeants as yes sir, yes ma'am, no sir, no ma'am. But that is a big, big no-no. Remember, in the Army, sir and ma'am only apply to officers. Normally a person's rank is going to be right here on their chest. If you see bars, leaves, birds, or stars, automatically know that that is going to be a sir or a ma'am. Your drill sergeants will have stripes. You'll see them. You'll know who they are. They'll also be wearing a crazy looking hat. So, the only 3 things that I ever suggest you say to them whenever you're answering a question is yes, drill sergeant, no, drill sergeant, and moving, drill sergeant. If anything else comes out of your mouth, especially during the first few weeks, you're asking for trouble. Drill sergeants do not find sir or ma'am respectful at all. Drill sergeant survival tip number 2, speak loudly. Drill sergeant will make it a point to pick on the people who are scared, nervous, shy, and respond like, yes, drill sergeant, no, drill sergeant. Don't get caught up being that person, because once they know who you are, they're going to take every opportunity that they can to mess with you, especially if you're quiet. And believe me, I know exactly how you feel, okay? I know that it's kind of embarrassing to scream in front of other people, but please understand that you're going to be with 200 other people who are going to be doing the exact same thing as you. The louder you answer, the less likely you are to be targeted by your drill sergeants. That being said, make sure that you do not get comfortable in the later phases of basic combat training. As time progresses and you start learning more and more what to do, you'll notice that your drill sergeants will have to fuss at you less and less, but it's definitely not the time to get comfortable with them, and it's definitely not the time to start joking with them. I'll give you an example. Whenever I was in basic combat training, for some reason, somebody in my platoon thought that it would be cute to try and make a joke with drill sergeant, and this was like week 7 or 8, so we were getting towards the end. We were already in blue phase. Whenever our drill sergeant felt like we had got too comfortable with them, they took one of those red electrical flags out of the ground and they made us carry it around everywhere. They actually sent us back to red phase and treated us like we hadn't been with them for the last 7 or 8 weeks. They left us in that thing for about a good week and I was miserable. So just because they ease up, don't let your discipline ease up, please. Drill sergeant survival tip number 3. Don't say that you can't. I don't care where you are, whether you're in the barracks, whether you're out at FTX with all your battle buddies, if you think drill sergeant is not around, don't ever say the words I can't or I quit, because that will be just another reason for drill sergeant to target you. For example, if you're doing push-ups and you tell drill sergeant that you just cannot do it anymore, he or she will make it a point to make sure for the next week or 2 or 3 that they give you push-ups every chance you get just to make you stronger. That way you can. As a drill sergeant myself, I would rather see you try and fail than to look up at me and say, drill sergeant, I can't, because that's just going to make me feel like I'm not doing a good enough job, and so I'm going to have to do an even better job. I said the words, "I can't do this," drill sergeant, one time at basic training. We were on the rappel tower. I'm terrified of heights. I've never been one to want to go skydiving or even climb a ladder, okay? So I understand. But we got on top of that rappel tower. I had the rope tied to me, and I looked at my drill sergeant and I said, "Drill sergeant, I can't do this." And you know what he did? He pushed me. He pushed me off of his tower. Now, times have changed. This was in the early 2000s. Drill sergeant cannot do things like that to you anymore, okay? But it taught me a valuable lesson. Don't say I can't. Also, you have to go down the rappel tower in order to graduate, so it's not one of those things where you just can't. You can and you will. Drill sergeant survival tip number 4. Don't ever call your drill sergeant by name. I am Staff Sergeant Lapoint, but the minute that I put that hat on, my first name is Drill and my last name is Sergeant. If you remember this at basic combat training, you'll be just fine. If you call your drill sergeant by their name, a lot of times they'll think that you're trying to get friendly with them, and that is not the point of basic training, and they will remind you of that by having you do some good old-fashioned push-ups or whatever other PRT exercise they pull out of their hat. I don't know. Last but not least, drill sergeant survival tip number 5. Don't ever tell drill sergeant that you need to do something. Now I'm talking about doing things like, "Hey drill sergeant, I need to go to the bathroom. Hey drill sergeant, I need to wash my hands. Hey drill sergeant, I need to change my socks." Instead of saying that you need to do something, make sure that you ask for permission. "Drill sergeant, Private such and such requests permission to use the latrine." "Drill sergeant, Private Snuffy requests permission to wash my hands." "Drill sergeant, Private Smith requests permission to change my socks." Telling a drill sergeant that you need to do something might make it seem like you're trying to make the rules, and that is not going to fly. You will get physically stronger, I promise. The biggest thing to remember as far as handling drill sergeants and basic combat training in general is that it is all a mind game designed to maximize your resilience. For those of you who don't know what resilience is, it's your ability to bounce back from tough situations. There are a couple things that I can promise you. Drill sergeant will not put their hands on you. They're not there to embarrass you or haze you or belittle you in any sort of way. In fact, the only reason drill sergeant is there is to mentor you and to make you into a better person and a good soldier for the Army. I hope these drill sergeant survival tips I've told you about today help you along your basic combat training journey. Remember, if you have any type of basic combat training questions, drill sergeant questions, enlistment questions, whatever, make sure you leave them in the comments below. I do my best to answer every single one. I look forward to seeing you guys again next week.